Hey guys, this is Adam with Carnage Comics and Cards, and we're going to do a video here about Flubs the Fool, a new spoiler from Bloomburrow. So this guy is a special promotional card, and he reads, you may play an additional land on each of your turns. Whenever you play a land or cast a spell, draw a card if you have no cards in hand. Otherwise, discard a card. So he is in green, blue, and red. I forget the name of that. But anyways, he's a 0/5, and he's what you would call a jank commander. However, I don't see him that way. I see him as a legit commander. Like if you build this right, it can actually be a working functional deck. So the first card that comes to mind, which you guys already know what I'm going to say, right? It's Mr. Loot, the key to everything. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile top X cards to your library, where X is the number of card types among other non-land permanents you control. You may play those cards this turn. So, because you are discarding your hand, if you have loot on the battlefield, then you are going to have the impulse card draw every upkeep that you actually don't need a hand. So if you discard a card every time, you're still going to get stuff to play. All right, and then something else to play would be Braylon Sky Shark Rider. And yes, she's used mostly as a commander. However, in the 99, it makes sense here because whenever you discard a card, you put a 1/1 counter on her. So for 4, you get a 3/3, and over time, you are going to build a massive human shaman that can swing and win you the game. All right, so the next card I have is Day's Undoing. Each player shuffles their hand and graveyard into their library, then draws 7 cards. If it's your turn, end the turn. So basically, what you have here is, hey, my graveyard's getting kind of full, and I have no cards in my hand. You can kind of get around Flubs mechanic by just saying, hey, I'm going to shuffle everything and go ahead and draw 7 cards. Next thing is Gaia's Blessing. So it says target player shuffles up to 3 target cards from their graveyard into their library. That's if you play this. You can also draw a card, but the important piece is this at the end. When it's put into your graveyard from your library, shuffle your graveyard into your library. So it's a way to recycle your library or your graveyard back into your library. Moving on. Inti. So this card is actually really awesome in this deck. Whenever you attack, you may discard a card. So it says may. And when you do, put a 1/1 counter on target attacking creature against trample until end of turn. That's cool, but I mean, if you're already doing a discard thing and you're getting cards back, right? So you could probably maybe afford to discard 2 instead of 1. But the cool part here is at the bottom. Whenever you discard 1 or more cards, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card until your next end step. So it's a way to get some more impulse card draw and deal with the fact that you're having discard cards. Next up, Glenthorn Buccaneer. He's a hasty 2/4. Whenever you discard a card, he deals 1 damage to each opponent. So again, working around that discard mechanic, you're going to deal 1 damage. You can pay 2 to discard a card and draw a card. Activate this ability only if it is attacking. This is very similar art to Gaia's Blessing, and this reads, it's a Blessed Respite for 2. Target player shuffles their graveyard into their library. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. So a combat trick, as well as recycling that graveyard again. All right. Now we have Conspiracy Theorist. Whenever Conspiracy Theorist attacks, you may pay 1 and discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Whenever you discard 1 or more cards, non-land cards, you may exile 1 of them from your graveyard. If you do, you may cast it this turn. So a piece of recursion here, a way of getting stuff out of your graveyard that you've discarded. And those are the cards that come to mind when I think of Flubs and building a commander deck around it. I think that it requires some work to get this card to work. However, I think it could be really a fun commander to build. And I think that you could do a lands recursion deck. You can do, the impulse card draw, and you can find a way to make this deck actually competitive in a casual environment. I don't think it's never going to be a CEDH card, but I think a lot of people, this card has piqued their interest. So here are just a few ideas. I hope you guys like this video. Thanks for checking it out. Catch you in the next one. Like and subscribe.